Hello and welcome to another video from In3D Software. Today I have another speed challenge for you, and what I want to do is create an angled shelf in an angled cabinet. So what I'm going to do is draw and create my angled cabinet first. In top view within CAD, I'm going to start a polyline command, this time from the 0 point, and then I'm going to come out 1800. And then I'm just going to angle my cabinet back. You'll be able to determine your own dimensions in here. And you can see that I've now got the shape of my angled cabinet. I can come in and type in other dimensions. So let's say that this is 2100 high, and I want to snap that up to that particular height. So this is my shape, and of course you can make yours any shape that you want. But once I've got that closed polyline, I'll go to the article designer and then create a principal name, outline geometry, angle from front. I can then say that this should be from the front and click next, select the front, and then you can see that it's created my article designer element from the front. I can then add in my parts, so I need a top, which will be a side, because you can see it's put it in as an angle. So I'll change that from being a shelf to a side panel and say that that is a right-hand side. So let's just choose that one there. And then I need a left-hand side. I also want a bottom, but we'll take out the feet, and the top. So I've now got a four-sided shape, five-sided shape. And then if I click and add in a back panel, I can then add that in as well. So there's my back panel using the same method. So now what I need is my angled shelf. So if I click on this shelf button, I can say that this is an adjustable shelf. And I've now got my angled shelf, but this isn't the type of angled shelf that I'd need. In fact, if I tried to put anything on here, it would fall straight off. So what I want to do is actually change the edge that is being divided. You can see along this red arrow, I've got a linear division of 1 to 1, and I need it to be in the height. So I'll click on the left-hand side here and say that this is the first element, and I've now got one shelf in here. But what I need is multiple shelves, and I need them to be what I call a shoe shelf, or a shelf with a upstand to the front. So I'll go to my shelf and then drop this down and choose my shoe shelf, which I've pre-made. We have a separate video for this one if you want to see how I've made this. And then if I then change my linear division, you can see that I've got 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. That will put in 3 angled shelves. And then if I turn on the construction button, you can see how they are then going to be angled. And I just want to bring this one a bit further down and maybe add in an extra shelf in here. So let's add in that extra shelf. And then what I want to do is move that top one down. So I'll say that this should be plus 200 mil to my first gap. There we go. So now I've got my angled shelf up at the top, and I've got my dowels everywhere for my construction. But what I need to do is make sure that these edges butt up nice and tight. So I'll switch to a conceptual view in here, and you can see that I've now got the gaps in here where I don't want gaps. So the best thing to do is to right click, select edge, and I can then select the edges where we want imos to butt these up nice and tight. So I can just select those. And the last set, I can then go to the joint function and tell it to butt up nice and tight to those edges, and it's now angled my upstand and my shelf and maintained my dowel connection for me. Let's switch back into wireframe. There's my edges. Now from a machining point of view, remember we want this to be a PRF00 and machining undefined, and this would then become a saw cut. And if we wanted it to be an angled milling, we'd want to then say that it is a machined edge and it should be machined after CNC. So that's how we can create angled shelves within an angled cupboard. Thanks for watching.